Welcome to the Holeinthewall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill DeMent, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Holeinthewall Drywall Repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. It's a great morning today. We've got a repeat visitor and a guest and a new partner of his, and I can't wait to kind of get into it. But
yeah, it really sounds exciting.
This is going to be a little bit different because we've got a lot of us in the room today, so I'm sure we'll be talking over each other, so we'll just do our best that we can. But we have known Tony Busby for many years now. Tony and I have been buddies for several years. He owns 2 locations of the Great Florida Insurance.
Yep.
And then he brought his new business partner in, Steve Gensolin, and they've got a new venture that I can't wait to talk about. So welcome, fellas.
Yeah, welcome in.
Welcome to the show. You got.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me back.
You got it. Yeah, we've known Tony for a while, big veteran, a supporter in his business, and he was able to enlighten us on some insurance issues before. But we'd love to hear a little bit more about Steve, and then obviously you haven't been in for over a year, so I'd love the audience.
It's been 2 years.
Probably 2 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're on episode 153. Can you believe that?
Yeah, we were still in double digits when I came on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that has been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, and you had
welcome back.
And you had a mayoral race between there and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Very cool. Well, welcome to the show, fellas. We absolutely want to hear a little bit more about you. We'll get to you in a second, Tony. Steve, I'd love my audience to kind of know who you are, what's your background experience, and then we'll have Tony do the same. But then we'll dig into what we're doing now, because I think we're pretty intrigued about that. So,
well, my name is Steve. I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, nice.
Does anybody really care about
Have you ever been on the dating game before?
Long walks on the beach.
Pina coladas. Yeah. I have been in the insurance business probably now for about 30 years now. I've run agencies, both on the captive agent side with a big good neighbor company. And then I went independent about 14 years ago or so. As the business was changing, I felt like there was more opportunity on the independent side. Price was becoming more of a factor. Whereas I grew up, or I was raised in an agency environment where if you didn't like our price, it's because you weren't good enough for us. So you should just go take a hike.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, people were becoming more price aware. There were more options and there were less options, and then there were more again. And there was no room for arrogance from a sales point of view.
So insurance-wise, are you talking, because I know there's so many different variations, right? You get property and casual, you get commercial, you got vehicle, you got healthcare, you got alternate. What was there a lane you focused on, or are you just kind of like jack of all trades?
When I was with a big corporate captive agency system, they encourage you to be more of a multi-line agent. When I went independent, I took the position that, life insurance, every insurance side, health insurance, we had massive changes with the Affordable Health Care Act or the Affordable Care Act coming in. And I made a decision for myself and for my clients that if I didn't really specialize in it and I didn't know it backwards and forwards, I wasn't going to be selling it to them. I felt like that would be a bit of a disservice. Life insurance has been a really dynamic product over the past 10 or 20 years. And if you're not really on top of it, you could be not really doing a good job of providing what they need. You got to stay on top of it. You got to really know what changes have happened, what changes are coming up, product changes, tax benefits, the different things that come along in that line of work. And I really just kind of bore down and focus on the property and casualty side, which again has had its share of complications. Every year there's new legislation that comes through. And if you're not really on top of it, you could really do somebody a disservice by keeping them as, in a position where you are an advisor and they are a client. And if you don't know it well enough, you put them in a bad spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a
So
professional
we focus
liability
mostly.
there.
Yeah, I've focused really strictly. I'll refer out any health or life or anything else like that because I don't. There's not enough time of the day for me. But again, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not. I'm pretty good at focusing on one or two things. But you start getting too broad of a brush, and I'm not real good at painting with that. So
yeah. And so you've been doing that for then over 30 years, you said.
Yeah, the whole kit and the caboodle. In one way or another, I've been in the insurance game for about that long now. I feel really old. But
Right. And so you're still doing it now actively.
actually, yeah, I've removed myself as the principal agent for my agency, as the agency principal, because again, focus. And one of the things that I learned is that it's really hard to do a bunch of stuff well.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades kind of thing. It just takes a lot of time. Maybe I'm just not real good at doing a bunch of stuff, but I mean, at least one thing I'm smart enough to do is know what I'm not smart enough to be doing. Know what I don't know.
Yeah, too many people never discover that.
Yeah, get out of your own way. Let someone else.
So that's been
you know.
maybe my strength. And, the smartest thing about me is that I know how not smart I am.
Yeah. So Tony, catch us up on you. You obviously you own a couple of agencies as well. So what's going on with you guys?
Well, I mean, like we spoke about in the last episode I was on, I own Great Florida of Lake Nona and Hunters Creek. And I focus on PNC as well, because like Steve said, when you get into health and life, that's a whole bunch of things that you need to know in order to properly take care of your client. And my big thing is my clients are number one. I mean, I have a horror story from yesterday with the lizard. I'm not going to say him out loud, but we all know who the lizard is. This client of mine purchased a policy in April. And usually clients don't come into my office, but this gentleman did. And he signed his documents electronically on his telephone right in front of me. And he got a confirmation back. Everything was good. The end of August, we have had no prior warnings or anything. They sent him a bill for $388 after he'd already paid in full. They changed his non-stacked uninsured motorist to stacked, and they took away his paperless discount because they said they never received his forms. And it was 4 months before they told any of us this. So I literally spent the last 2 weeks, the bulk of my time, arguing with the lizard about how this isn't right, what they're trying to do. Got him on the phone last night. Finally got a hold of a supervisor. Supervisor says, okay, we're gonna send the paperwork again, because I did the paperwork and then uploaded it after one of their people told me how to do it. And they said, we don't accept third-party signatures. So you have to get it signed through our system. I'm like, but your system is broken. Your system is not doing what it's supposed to. By the end of the conversation, we got it straightened out after working on this for multiple weeks. And I ended up pulling money out of my own pocket in hopes that the lizard's going to give me my money back,
right,
to make sure the customer didn't lose his insurance, because his insurance was going to cancel this morning at 12:01 a.m. Now, one thing that I want to talk about really quick, because, Steve and I are here to talk about our new venture, Roof.
right.
And I'm an insurance broker, and I'm going to be probably one of the only insurance brokers who is going to tell you, right to you, insurance companies are not your friends. They have lawyers, they have adjusters, they have an army to make sure that they pay you as little as possible.
Right.
And that's why I got into insurance, was to make sure that my clients got the best possible policy and had the best possible outcome in the event of a claim.
So it also brings to light something that I want to share, because we do this with banking. We're just a number to our banks, but yet as a business, we want to have a banker, right? So we will bring our banker in. We'll talk about him here. You can get insurance online. You can just go online. You can go to any one of them, progressive.com, whatever you're going to want. And but you don't have a relationship with your insurance agent, right? So you don't have somebody that's going to fight in your corner like you fought for your client for the past 2 weeks. So the benefit of not just taking the easy way out and just filling out a form online, thinking that the insurance company is going to take care of you, we know that they're just there to take care of themselves.
Well, it's not even that, because the whole part of the reason why Roof even came into light, it was Steve and my wife's, brilliant idea for both of them to come forward with this thought process of, why are experts, field experts in their fields not working together to get the customer taken care of quickly, efficiently, and on point. And, one of the most terrible things that I've ever seen is when an insurance company flat out denies a client because they use the wrong terminology. If a pipe bursts in your wall in your kitchen and you got 3 inches of water in your kitchen floor, what are most people going to say?
I got a flood.
Exactly. They're going to call up and say, I have a flood in my kitchen.
Yeah.
The insurance company is going to go automatic denial because your homeowner's is not a flood policy. And then if you try to claim on the flood policy, it's going to be denied as well because what you actually have is water damage due to a pipe breaking. So that's one of the instances. That's why Roof is here, is because we know that terminology. We know how to talk to these people. We know how to protect you and fight in your corner. And Steve can attest to that. Steve is our CEO. I'm the COO. My job is basically to work on the business to customer side. Steve is working business to business side, and I'll let Steve take off with that.
Yeah. So the need for an advocacy group basically is what you guys are turning into. Take us through a normal claim process, Steve, that would happen, and then we'll talk about roof and figure out where the difference is going to lie when partnering with the professionals that have the customer at stake. So full disclosure, I just settled a claim with my insurance company after a year and a half, right? It was pre-hurricane, roof damage, 20-year-old roof, and Citizens obviously denied that claim immediately. And then when they wanted to approve it over through the hurricane policy, but there was no hurricane at the time of the roof. I got an adjuster involved, and we fought it. And then we eventually got an attorney involved. And after a year and a half, we settled, and they gave me the check for the roof, right?
Right. And you lost 33.3% to the attorney, and you lost 20% to the public adjuster.
Yeah, the attorney got his 10 grand, the adjuster got his 20%, and I got the rest, right? Luckily, I had a roofer that could give me the roof for the price that I needed it to, but you still came out of pocket a little bit. Not as much as I would have if it was a hurricane claim, but I still had a $2,500 deductible, but better than 2% from a hurricane claim. So I was just through this process. It's funny, Bill and I actually did claims at the exact same time, his roof and my roof, both the Citizens. He did it.
Mine was 20 years old too. They approved it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no adjuster.
A month later, I had
no
a
adjuster.
roof.
And I think they just got ticked off at me because I had an adjuster involved. But I still had a bigger roof. My roof's a little bit bigger than yours.
Could be.
Roof cost me $26,000.
Bragger. Yours is bigger than his.
Yeah, no, just different. Not better. Just
Actually,
different.
believe it or not, $26,000 is about the average price.
I think mine was 25 and change.
Yeah, 25 is the state average for what it costs to replace a roof.
All right, so let's talk about a normal person going through the claim process. They had a pipe burst, a roof leak, whatever it is, and what your involvement then was, if any, and then the setbacks. And then I want to talk about how, when we engage with this new roof business, how things are going to be different.
When I left my captive agency down in Miami, and I came up here to open up Independence, when you have a really large agency and you have 10,000 clients, you become more of an administrator than an agent to your client. You don't have time to talk to 10,000 people about their policies. You don't have time to do the education. I think that makes us more useful as an agent. Frankly, we're probably losing our functionality, and our what we bring to the table has changed. We're a sales arm, not a service arm. And now typically when people have a claim, they call their agent. He gives them an 800 number. He wishes them the absolute best of luck and says, "Don't call me again about this. I'm a sales guy, not a claims guy."
Mm-hmm.
I run more like an old-fashioned insurance agency. I remember when I was a kid, our agent was named Dan Evers in a small town, and we knew him. We'd stop by the house and say hello. You see him at church, you see him at Walmart, you see him at Publix. You always say hello. There was a relationship there. There really was. I mean, we knew him. He was a buddy. He was a friend. And when I was 16 and I got my license, I got 2 speeding tickets the first week I had my license. Of course, I hid it from my dad. I went to the mailbox and I swiped them out of there, and I broke my piggy bank and I paid them. Hoped my dad would never find out. And I thought I got away with it. A couple months later, he says, "Hey, son, Dan wants you to come by the agency and he needs to talk to you." And I said, you were just complaining about how much our rates went up when I started driving. Maybe Dan wants to give me a prize or something. So I go to Dan's office on Main Street. He says, "Hey, Steve, come on into the office." I think, man, what am I going to get? Like a backpack or some swag with State Farm on it, something free. He goes, pull the door shut behind you. Pull the door shut, man. Is some dancing girls going to come running out here? Must be really good. Maybe it's a knapsack full of money or something. Pull the door shut, and he goes, sit down. I sit down. He sits in his chair across his desk, and he looks at me and goes, son, your daddy has given permission to me for me to whoop your backside if you get another speeding ticket. And I thought, holy, how did he find out about this? No, I had no idea how everything worked. But that was that much of a relationship. Like I was going to get a whooping there, and then I was going to get twice the whooping when I got back home.
A good neighbor, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. I mean, back in the days when a neighbor was somebody that you knew. I mean, I grew up in a small town. My mom and dad knew I did something dumb before I even got home.
Yeah,
for the
your
most
neighbors
part.
help hold you accountable.
Yeah, I mean, there was some accountability there, but that was how tight the relationship was. When we had something happen, we called Dan, and he walked us through it, took care of it. And I decided, rather than being an administrator and a paycheck processor, I mean, that was my job when I had 10,000 clients. I basically was, I was an administrator. I ran a business. I wasn't an insurance guy. My job was breaking up a fight between two of my customer service reps when two angry girls, because one girl liked their boyfriend's picture on Facebook, go run out of the parking lot, put on your referee jersey, and, call the UFC fight, But as far as interaction with customers, I didn't really have much. I mean, I walk in for payday, I walk out, and they don't want to see me until 2 weeks later, basically. Mm-hmm. I used to tell people that I didn't do anything, like I was not gainfully employed. I did not contribute to society. I basically was I'd sign paperwork, and then, that was about it. So when I came up here and, as a captive agent, if I even called in to say, hey, why is this not being paid, this claim, the company, I get a letter back saying, stop interfering with the claims process. Your fiduciary duty as a captive agent is to the company, not the customer. So I said, well, okay, I'll go be an independent. And I thought I'll start. And I did it before. I worked 100 hours a week. I can do it again. Of course, I was 40 at the time. And working 40 hours a week at 40 is not like working 100 hours a week. Like 100 hours a week is very different at 40 than it is at 25.
Right.
So I learned a quick lesson there about how much work I was capable of doing. And of course, working 100 hours a week for the first time cost me an ex-wife. And sure enough, the 100 hours a week cost me another ex-wife when I started up, my independence up here. But that's okay. I mean, I did it. I pulled it off, but I decided to cap my agency where I could know everybody and try to be more like Dan Evers was for my family. I tell people now that if the heaviest lifting your agent does is pick up a check every year, he might not be earning his money. You might want to get a little bit out, because we do get paid when you choose to renew. My goal was always to earn your decision to renew with me every year. I know you have options. You get stuff in your mailbox. You see the commercials, everything else. I need you to have another reason other than I'm saving you $5 on your car insurance to be with me. So I always tell my clients, when something happens, you call me first. And I would walk people through the claims process as their agent. Now, that's a little different. A lot of other agents would make fun of me and say, what's your ROI on that? All those hours that you're spending doing that. I don't get paid extra for it. But
I am curious, though, when you went independent, what is kind of an optimum number of clients for somebody running independent so that you can maintain that level of service?
Bill, I'm never going to be the smartest guy in any room I'm sitting in. I assure you, I'm not the smartest guy in this room. For me, it's like 3,500. Okay. Every once in a while you get a little, like I went away for the weekend with my long suffering third wife, hoping not to have a third ex-wife. And for whatever reason, weird timing, Friday afternoon, I get 3 claims called into my cell phone. So I'm dealing with a leaking toilet, ruining flooring and drywall. I'm dealing with a theft. Somebody's house got broken into. And I can tell you every single one of them, and I had one other one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was another. Oh, lightning claim. Lightning struck a house. So I'm dealing with 3 claims when I'm supposed to not be on the phone. And every time I hang up, I'm like, last phone call, hon, I promise. But look, that's a commitment I made to my clients.
Sure.
And she does understand that, so She let me get those things put away for the weekend and at least stabilized, and letting them know that I'll be calling them on Monday. And so we took care of that. But it's a process. Nobody should have to know what's in that 50 or 60 page document. Leave that to me, the insurance nerd guy, who for some weird reason finds that interesting, or at least finds that that's his obligation or responsibility to know that well enough for you that you don't have to translate legalese or attorney speak to understand what your coverages are. So if I do that for people, then I'm earning their decision to renew with me. Now, as this industry has changed significantly over the last decade, where they've become more hesitant, and it's become more, and Tony is more blunt than I am, I will just say it's capitalism at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm not putting a moral judgment on the idea that insurance companies do not have an interest in fully and quickly finding out everything that they owe and paying it to you. That's just capitalist business. So I try not to take it very personally, but it's difficult. When I tell my clients, this is not personal, don't let them get you frustrated, angry, or upset, because then just emotionally you're taking a little bit of a loss on that side already.
Not just that, you're going to say something which is going to trigger them to deny part of the claim or the entire claim.
Oh yeah, the insurance companies don't have emotions. They don't get angry. Of course, their roof isn't leaking, but it's if you really personalize and you say, look, is there a weapon that is used against you? And again, I'm not trying to say that they're evil. No moral judgment here. It's time, and that's the human element of it, because you do get frustrated when they're not helping you, because we have a perception that they're your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're not your buddy. They're a business. Like, let's just understand that, and then we don't have to take it personally.
Mm-hmm. Well, you think that the insurance company takes listen, we've owned many homes over decades, and then your very first claim ever on your house gets denied, and you're like, well, I've been paying you, without fail, because if I miss one payment, you're canceling me, right? But then when I do finally have a need, they jerk me around a little bit and give me a headache. Which is why I took the position, well, I'm going to hire an adjuster from the start, just to have an advocate, because listen, they've got field adjusters, they got desk adjusters, they've got attorneys, they got all kinds of people, like engineers that want to do nothing but reduce the amount of money they pay for your claim. So I want to at least have some person on my side. This is the need that I think that you guys are going to fill, because that was just me. And then I had to go find a roofer. Then I had to go find, I had to go do these things myself with the help of my adjuster. But I think you guys with Roof are going to fit a really strong, needed niche in the market. So Tony, tell me a little bit about what was the void you saw, and then how is Roof going to kind of connect the dots and fill that void?
So the void that Steve and my wife initially saw was exactly what you're saying: the time element, the human element, the customer saying the wrong thing, not knowing they're saying the wrong thing because they don't understand the insurance language. Mm-hmm. And that's why I tell everybody, do not DIY your own insurance policy. Don't go online and purchase a policy, because you're going to not understand all the verbiage that is put in front of you, and you're going to click the wrong box. And when you need that insurance, you're going to find out very quickly you have no coverage. So with Steve's expertise, my expertise, our entire team's expertise, we've got over 100 years of expertise between all of the partners involved in this. And what we're doing is, you call us with your information. We send you some forms, you sign the forms, we start the claim for you, and we finish the claim. A to Z. We have a preferred vendors list that we've already got started, where those contractors have already been vetted. So you're not worrying about the door knockers after a hurricane who's from out of state, who's going to just take your money and run with it.
Right.
You're getting quality businesses who have been in business for decades, and they have great reputations. So our job in Roof, take your claim, file your claim, keep you informed. We have our own team of adjusters. We have our own team of contractors. We have our own inspectors. We have our own marketing people, and we even have a legal team. And, so all of those combined makes us a one-stop shop. you no longer have to take the time of trying to figure all this out on your own and trying to understand the legal jargon that's used. You call Roof, we handle it from A to Z for you, and you get peace of mind and your time back with your family and the ability to rebuild your life from whatever disaster or incident that created a claim for you.
So this is a once a year fee? Is it a monthly payment, a subscription service? What is this?
It is a subscription service. I'll let Steve talk more to the business to business with some of our contractors. As business to consumer, it's $30 a month with a $50 one-time application fee. And this doesn't just qualify for roof claims. This is any claim you have, you can call us that is involved with your home. Now, we don't do personal auto, but we take care of your home and your dwelling.
So something happens, a tree goes through a window, something, first call is call you guys.
Yes.
Okay. And so once we subscribe, do you need to audit our insurance policy and all that good stuff? Make sure we have.
You actually, when you sign up, you have to upload a copy of your insurance policy so we can read it to make sure you actually qualify for the program. And if you don't qualify, we're going to explain to you why you don't qualify and what needs to be done for you to qualify.
So you'll find the gaps in the policy and help us fill those gaps.
Yeah, because if we can't help you, when we talk about qualifying, it's more so that if we're not going to be able to solve your problems for you, if we're not going to be a benefit to you, we don't want you to pay the money to be a member. But usually if we can't help you, it's because you have some gaps in your policy that you're probably not aware of. And there's too many people out here that have policies that are never going to do them any good. And you're still paying, you're paying an outrageous sum. I think my average premium about 5 or 6 years ago was $1,000 for a homeowner's policy. It's well over $4,000 now. And we bust our tails to keep rates down, because if we didn't, it would be over $5,000. That's probably that's the more average thing in Florida. I don't know anything else that we complain about the price of eggs and stuff like that. Like, it went from like $2 to $6. Really sucks when your policy goes from $1,000 or $800 to $4,000.
Right.
And then you feel like nobody is helping you. I mean, you're giving up a lot of money. And the business has gone more to where you're finding. The nice way of saying it is you're retaining more risk for yourself. That's a nice way of saying we give you less, we're covering less stuff, or we expect you to bear more of the burden when something happens. At the end of the day, we're here to solve what we discovered were really like the main problems after a storm. Number one, deductibles are too high. So we have worked and created and researched and found a number of nonprofit partners, NGOs, and government routes to finding money to help you with that deductible. $5,000. I remember when deductibles were $500.
Yeah.
Right.
And according to
$5,000
bankrate.com, according to bankrate.com, 80% of Americans can't afford a $500 unexpected expense. How many Floridians do you think can afford an unexpected $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 or $8,000 unexpected expense?
Yeah, sure.
It literally is a barrier to even getting your roof fixed, because if you can't pay up to $6,000 of your deductible, guess who never has to pay $6,001 up to $25,000?
Right.
The insurance company never has to. And that is, again, if they experience emotion, they would be jumping for joy, but it's not an emotional thing. That's just business. You can't pay your deductible. If you can't find those sources for help, I guess you can pay 30% on a credit card or something like that, but that's a hole that you're going to just bury yourself in.
Yeah, I can see where there's a really big need there. And
So
you guys have solved
That's
that.
number one.
Found
Number
some
two.
sources.
The insurance claim process is impossible. Now, I'm not going to say it's that way on purpose, because I'm the nicer one between Tony and I. I'm going to say it's just difficult.
Yeah, no,
speaking-
they do it intentionally, because if the insurance company can keep you, the consumer, confused, they can retain more of your money.
And also if it takes longer. I mean, we have one person who took 10 minutes, one person who took
Year and a half,
18 months. Every moment that they hang on to that money, number one, it's more likely you quit on it and you give up. Number two, they've kept it and they're making money on that interest. And again, that's just business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's advantageous to them to have you confused and make it difficult. I'm not saying they did it on purpose, but we can solve that for you. They can't talk circles around me. I'm 30 years in. Most frontline claim reps are about a year or two in. If you think they can trick us into saying that it's not covered, or that you haven't provided a certain documentation, or that you said something, I'm not going to say something wrong.
Sure.
Guess who's going to say more wrong stuff than me?
And you're not going to get emotional about it either.
No, and I protect you from that emotional frustration and anger. You never have to sit on hold for 45 minutes before you can talk to somebody who doesn't know what they're telling you, or they're just telling you to go kick rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle that. I've been doing it for a long time. The third problem is that you guys know, since you guys are in the trades,
Right.
what happens after a storm. Every dude from Arizona all the way to
Carolinas.
everywhere,
Yeah,
they all come down for the money grab.
Yeah,
Yep.
storm
Right?
chasing. Mm-hmm.
Storm chasing, it's great money. Again, capitalism, more power to them. But you know what? It never does my clients any good at all. They need warranty work. Hello, Minnesota. Would
Yeah.
you book a flight and come down and fix this? And then we're breaking up. Sorry, I can't. I'm in a tunnel in Minnesota. I can't. And then the phone call
Right.
ends. Right. So what we do is we're doing what we've always done for our clients. And in this state, they say we have a litigation problem. Right. Well, insurance companies tell us we have a litigation problem. We have a litigation problem. Do you know how many times in 30 years, tens of thousands of homes insured, thousands upon thousands of claims that I've helped process for my clients? I'm their voice. I keep a buffer. Do you know how many I've had go to lawsuit? Two. Does that sound like I don't have a litigation problem? Maybe the industry does, but maybe people should go find other agents, because and there are other routes. Like you said, there's adjusters, there's attorneys, but they all take time and they all take money. And when you're doing that for a living, that's business. And again, it's capitalism. Maybe it's not in their best interest to get it settled quickly, because that doesn't maximize their percentage amount. Maybe that doesn't maximize their fees. And again, not making a moral judgment on it, but if I look at it from a client standpoint, I don't think I had anything from Helene and Milton go more than 60 days. I think I had one construction project, a tree fell on a house, and that took longer, but I don't think any claims took longer than 60 days for me to handle. That was a couple hundred that I took care of. Now, there's only one me, and my wife was getting really mad that I was working until 10 o'clock at night. I'm an insurance agent. I'm 53 years old. I'm supposed to be golfing, fishing, and irritating my wife because I never go to work. That's the way our business, that's the way our business is. That's the arc of our business. I had one agent tell me when I first started, he goes, Steve, he was a Cuban guy. He says, Steve, do you want to know how I make $2 million a year? I said, well, heck yeah. I'm like, I've never made like 200,000 in a year at this point. Like, I would love to know. I literally had just started. He goes, okay, Steve, I never go to my office before 10 a.m. and I never leave after 2 p.m. And I take a 2-hour lunch. And he thought that was hilarious.
I think
That
it's
he
kind of
works 2 hours a day and he makes $2 million a year. And that is the general arc of us as insurance agents. It's just the world has changed. People need us more, and we have the skill set to provide it. And I don't know a single insurance agent that is overworked and underpaid. It's usually kind of like the other way around, right? Like they're usually underworked and very much overpaid. And I say that as an insurance, I get it. That's why we went into the business. We're like the original Amway. You sell it once, you get paid 20 times for the next 20 years. And that's a beautiful thing if that's all it takes. If that's all a consumer needs or expects, that's a wonderful business to be in.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you fixed one hole in a drywall section and they just kept paying you every year?
Yeah, we hadn't figured out how to do that yet.
Well, you got to be like insurance companies and write all the rules for the game, and then write all the lines on the playing field. You decide what all the lines are, and then magically everything works out well for you. The problem is you at some point I've asked insurance executives, man, how hard is this game that you're playing? The game is how hard can you squeeze the teat before you kill the cow? Because I'll tell you what, my customers, they are on their side right now, like just about done. You've just about found that line. You cannot get any more milk out of that udder. It's done. You guys are already over the limit. But again, nothing personal. It's capitalism. That's the world we live in. Best economic fuel for any kind of economy in the world. There's a best system to work in. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I believe that capitalism works, but you just can't forget that you're here to still take care of people.
Well, that leads me to the question that I have, because obviously, as we're in the trades, we do drywall repair. So how can someone who's in the trades, who sees the benefit of a roof helping their clients, what's the best way for us to kind of like get involved in that process? How can we become part of the vendor process? What's the best way for trades to kind of jump in and help the process?
You guys, one of the most common things for people, particularly in the roofing or the GC business, is that if you're big enough, you have an in-house adjusting team. Okay. I talked to one roofer last week who does, I don't want to be too specific, but he does somewhere in the 500 roofs a month neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You're talking about a $250 million a year business.
Yeah.
He's got somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen adjusters that work in-house, probably cost him about $1.5 million a year, right? And it's nice if you have that resource, but that's really not the way most of the trades work, right? So what we would encourage you to do is call us and say, look, you could hire an adjuster, like an experienced adjuster, to do all of your insurance work for $120,000, $150,000 a year. And anytime you have an insurance job, call them. They pick up the phone in your office. They work and advocate for you, but they're costing you a pretty penny. We essentially can assist the trades by acting almost as a virtual in-house adjusting team. But we don't do it for free, because guess what? We have the world's only amended insurance adjuster contract that says, you know what we charge for everything that we adjust for our members? 0%. 0% to get the initial adjusting work done. It's 0%. We have no incentive to blast that claim up for you, because you know what that costs you as a client? It costs you time. Because sometimes if you're asking for a number that's not going to be paid and you go, well, we're just, that's a starting number. And then they're going to try to negotiate. You know what? You don't have to have a starting number, have a right number and stick to your guns. That's the right number. We are not fueled by increasing a claim or anything else. We want the right number, because guess what? That does not take a lot of time to get taken care of. And at the end of the day, as a tradesman, you can sign somebody to a contract, but is that revenue? No, it's not revenue till the job is done. So what we do is we skip a lot. If you tell your client, you've had this loss, right? Okay, call your insurance company, tell us when they're ready to pay. Well, you're going to bandy about for about a month, 6 weeks. And they go, they've never called me back. And you go, okay, well, let me try. Then you give it a shot for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Then you give up. Then you call an adjuster. Now you get another 2, 3, 4 months on top of that. Now you're 6 months out and client hasn't had their house fixed. You don't have any money in your pocket. Let's skip it. Let's go straight to it. We will file it right with the client. We will handle it properly. We will avoid any of those unnecessary delays that will work on a consumer. They should work on a consumer, but they're never going to work on us. Okay. And this is a proven process for us. Like I said, you can look at my track record over the last 2 crazy storms we've had. You can look at the number. If it goes to an attorney, are you ready to wait 2 years for your money?
Well, and here's the other thing that we have not been very public about, because we just did our public launch in July of this year. But last year, we had a beta test where we took 5,000 claims and tested our system to make sure it would work before we launched publicly. And Steve will tell you, all 5,000 of those claims were handled properly, quickly, and efficiently.
Mm.
Yeah, and I did it for free, which sucks. My wife is not real happy about that. So eventually, what we've done is we've created a very elegant solution. Okay, so we're protecting you from the huge deductible. We're helping you through our resources with those huge deductibles. We are helping you save time and stress. and hatred and headache and just wanting to go, Luigi Mangione, your insurance agent, because I don't want that to happen to me, right? I don't want Luigi to walk up behind me and pop me in New York. And then we also save you from the predatory, carpetbagging outside contractors that all flow in here.
So you guys have some kind of a vetting process then for any of the contractors you're working
yes.
with?
And if you don't believe we do, the reason we do is because we stand behind our contractors' work. In other words, if they ditch us, guess where it's coming out of? If you think I want to go to Tony and go, hey, bud, we need to pony up about 10 grand for this roof because it didn't get fixed right, I'm going to do that from a phone call from a distance far, far away from Tony, because he's going to want to punch me in the head.
I'm curious, what's the response from the construction industry been to your idea?
Powerful, because again, what we do for them is we turn that into revenue. Now, we are vetting you. You're going to vet us. You're going to make sure we're not full of bull. But we're also going to vet you because we won't sign up with you if we cannot literally with our own wallet stand behind your work. If you have a bunch of complaints, if you have a poor reputation in town, we're trying to stick with local small businessmen. That's our goal, because that's always who I've found gets the best satisfaction for the client. Everything we do, everybody we choose, and everybody we work with, the end goal is to make sure our client gets their stuff done and gets it done properly and quickly. Now, that means we have to do our part, but I'm going to be really bad at fixing drywall. That's why we need partners like you. The other side of it is that we, the speed at which we're able to process the insurance side is great, but you have to be ready to do the work. So we have to have good vendors that are ready to roll with us as well. But at the end of the day, if your goal is to both get paid fairly for your work and to take care of the client, then our goals are aligned.
Yeah.
No, we are not your partner. We don't get paid off of what you do. You don't get paid off of what we do. It's independent, arm's length, client-centered. So as long as we're both having the same interest and we're both doing the thing for the client, we're going to be good. And guess who gets help? The client. Even the company, we will never ask for a nickel more than is owed, but we also will not take a nickel less.
I'll tell you the truth, it really sounds like an idea whose time has come.
I think so too.
I'm intrigued by this. So Tony, you said you guys kind of launched in June or July, I think
July of this year, we publicly launched, but we did have that beta period last year to actually test our theory to make sure that it worked before we went public.
Tell me, what does this look like 12 months from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now?
If I was a homeowner in Florida, there's 6 million of them, single family homes, somewhere in the 6 million neighborhood. If I had a home in Florida, I would never, ever go another day without buying it myself. If you think there's such thing as a casual conversation with a company claim rep, you are sadly mistaken. It's not because they hate you or because they're bad people. It's business.
And they're doing their job trying to protect the insurance company and the insurance company's money, which they got from you originally.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, and again, I had consultants tell me that we should be charging $100, $150 a month for this. And I said, no, if it's not accessible to everybody, then we're not going to change the pattern of behavior. We're not going to change the insurance industry or the claims industry for the people that need it the most. Most of the rich people that I know, my clients that I have live in $2 or $3, $4 million homes, they don't care about the help.
Yeah, it's not even
they're not even applying for it. But what they don't want to do is spend like hours upon hours, 30, 40, 50 hours batting back and forth with a claim rep who's saying stuff they don't understand and they don't know what the next step is. They don't want to waste the time on it. That's why it matters for them, maybe for the people who are more blue collar, more average Joe, more of your typical Floridian, your retiree.
Yeah.
That $5,000 can save up to $5,000, like that assistance from nonprofits and being able to locate it and apply for it and get it for them. That can be a life changer.
Okay, let me break this down the easiest way I can. Your average hurricane deductible is 2%. If you have a home worth $600,000, 2% of that is 12 grand. Do you have $12,000 sitting in your bank account right now? If a storm came and wiped out part of your house, do you have $12,000 to cover your deductible?
No.
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 And
Almost
that's probably the
nobody
case
does.
for 90% of the
Exactly.
population.
That is why we came
more.
up with this, and we came up with this program to where we can help you get deductible assistance through our nonprofit partners.
And just as importantly for the tradesmen, you know, I've asked hundreds of roofers about how long, and maybe I could ask you guys about how long after a storm do you guys typically have your clients moving for, they've got their claim paid and you're starting your work that you know you're going to get the money for?
Well, we always say that, you know, when the storm hits, like say Hurricane Irma came through, we had work for 2 years, right? Because it was.
But when did you start after the storm? How long did it take you to start?
We don't 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
It really started kicking in.
Three to 6 months before we started really seeing those claims come
3 to
in.
6 months.
Mhm.
If you guys have the ability to get started 3 to 6 weeks,
Right.
Yeah,
that gives you
absolutely.
an extra anywhere from 1 to 3 or more months of production,
Yeah.
and you have happier clients. And honestly, if you look at the totality of the claims world, we've actually taken less money out of it because there's, you know, and again, there will always be a need for attorneys and public adjusters. There will always be a need because again, it's just not the way the world works. Insurance companies don't just cough up and write big checks, and they don't, you know, there's no blank check process anymore. But if we can minimize the cases that go there, and it's well documented, and everything is there already that says, look, guys, we did everything reasonable. You can't blame it on lack of consumer knowledge. You can't blame it on we messed something up because we weren't familiar with the claims process. We didn't submit a document. We have it all documented. You know how much easier those cases are? You know, by the time it gets to an attorney, it's, you know, what's the insurance company going to say when there's really kind of a hammer like over their head of just reality, truth, and documented? So no insured starts documenting stuff day one. No insured records or provides a transcript of that first conversation that they have with a claim rep. When they go, oh, no, that's wear and tear. You go, well, a lot of things get worn and torn in 130 mile an hour winds. They go, well, worn and torn is not covered under this clause of your insurance policy. And you're going, doesn't really make that much sense to me, but okay, I need to go ask somebody about it. But there's a million reasons to deny a policy, and it's not always properly applied. And I'm not saying they're evil. I'm just saying that their interests don't always align with yours. And again, no moral judgment here. I'm just saying that if you own a home and you don't join Roof and you want to go on this on your own, you're either a lot smarter than me, which is very, very possible, or you have more experience in this business than I do, which is not really probably all that likely.
Yeah. So as you guys are growing this, are you bringing more experienced people with a background like yours into the company to be able to provide?
Absolutely. I think everybody that is in insurance for the right reasons. I used to tell my kids that daddy helps people when bad stuff happens. And if that's why you're in the insurance business instead of collecting checks, then we want you to come and join us.
Mm-hmm.
We want you on with us because we can rearrange the way that people are in this business, the way the manpower is assigned in this business to actually take care of the client. And again, I don't believe our interest is at odds. There's no moral where we're superheroes and they're evil and we're here to save the day. We're just going to hold you to the process. An insurance company's never called you once, right? And said, hey, you're such good guys. Why don't you just pay like half of your premium this year?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I remember that call.
So why would you let them, all I'm saying is you pay what you owe on that contract. The insurance company should pay, and they will if it's shown to them, documented right, submitted properly. They will. They have to. By law, they're required to do so. There might be a lot of hoops you have to jump through that you don't know how to jump through them. Well, we know how to jump. So we're not going to be leaving you unprotected, unadvocated for. We're not here to try to hold them up for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
We want them to pay what they owe and pay it on time, pay it timely. If your premium is late, how long before they cancel your policy?
30 days.
Yeah, it's not going to be
30
long.
days. We have people here that are 36 months out of Ian and Nicole that haven't got their claim payment yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad relationship when they get 36 months and you get 30 days. That's, that would be like, my first
agreed.
ex-wife where, I was always like doing all of my stuff. And then she was like, hey, I'm going to go wear the stripe off of your credit card later today. And like, I'm going, okay, I'm busting my tail. Like, why don't you do your part in this? Like just a little bit of like, tell me I'm doing all right. Like, just be nice to me. That's all I asked. it's a bad relationship between you and your insurance company because it's very imbalanced. And it's that way because they have billions of dollars and you probably don't. And that doesn't mean that they're evil and you're wonderful. It just means that it's not balanced. And whenever there's an imbalance of power, it's a bad relationship.
Yeah.
So if someone, would you help them get the right insurance policy to begin with through Roof, or is that just you guys individually?
We will absolutely go right back to there and tell them this is what we're not here to snake. I'm not growing. I don't grow my insurance agency. I'm where I am. I don't market. I don't advertise. I only take people from personal referrals. That's it. I'm not trying to send out postcards. I'm not trying to save you $5 on your car insurance. I have clients now that appreciate what it is that I've always done for them, and they know that they have an insurance guy, not an insurance policy.
Yeah, but as you grow, there's going to be thousands of people that sign up.
We
for
will
this.
send them back to their agent for referral. Exactly. If their agent doesn't want to take care of it, or they don't have a relationship with their agent, they bought it online. We will also have agencies that we will refer out to. I'm not interested. Like, this is not an insurance policy grab. I don't get paid. Like, I'm too old to even see the benefits of it.
But if I want my policy to be grabbed,
we will certainly find you an agent who is not, who will do more heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, it's very, you know, like Steve says, our agencies, we both have the same mentality of taking care of the customer. You know, our retention rate, my retention rate with both my agencies is about 85%. The average retention for a normal insurance agency is, you know, 55 to 57%. So the fact that I retain 85% of my clients, I typically that means I only have to come up to stay exactly where I'm at. I only have to sell 15% a year to maintain the level of agency that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pull my roof is bigger thing. My lapse cancellation rate, I lose 4% of my clients a month. If they die or move out of state, I have to replace them. That's it.
I had a bunch of commercial, but
I'm older. I've had more time to work over my book, and I'm a lot older than Tony is. So, you know, again, if you have an agent, like one of the first questions, and I always say who you pick as an agent is more important than what policy you pick, because if you pick the right agent, they're going to pick the right policy for you. Okay. And if you walk into an agent, number one, I always recommend a broker, not a captive agent. Their interests are differently aligned. A broker, his fiduciary duty is to the client. A captive agent, his fiduciary duty is to the company that he is bound to.
Yep.
A good broker, if you ask them, what's your retention rate? If it's something like in that 15% golden number, which is what it's always been, at like 15% is the gold standard. Or if they don't know what their retention rate is, move on, find another person. But a good agent will be conscientious, because the best agents make money by taking care of the customers that they have, not by grabbing a bunch of new ones. If you're in a churn, if you go to an agency who they go, look, come on, I don't have any time. Sign here, sign here, sign here. If you get an agent through your title company or your realtor, I don't know what to tell you. You know, when something happens and you don't have the right coverage, or you don't really, you know, and you find that out, the one thing that we will do is we will look at your policy. That's why we have to have an application, because we do have to go over your policy and your coverage, take the time to discuss it with you. And then we'll go from there. And it's $30 a month. Look, you can save $30 a month for 13 and a half years. You'll have $5,000. Mm-hmm. Or you can join Roof. And if there's a storm next month, we're going to work with our nonprofit network to get you help with your deductible up to that $5,000.
Up to $5,000, because if your deductible's $2,000, you're not going to get $5,000.
No foundation is going to provide you with a windfall.
Not only that, but the whole purpose of insurance is to make you whole again. You're not supposed to make money on insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're always wanting to work within the boundaries and constraints of a foundation is typically going to be there to help you, not to like.
They're not trying to enrich you.
Go to Vegas, yeah. And we're not going to violate that. You know, we're not going to violate that relationship, the trust that we've built with our network to overly help you. And, you know, that's the other thing that, you know, those nonprofits are going to be coordinating through FEMA. You know, you're not going to get both a FEMA grant and an NGO grant. So you triple up on your deductible and go, woo, woo, let's go to Vegas, Cancun.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Our job is to take as good a care as you can, get you paid fast, get you paid fair, get the tradesmen working to where they aren't worrying about whether or not they're going to get paid for this. You know, you float a roof or two, you go bankrupt, you know, for a lot of smaller roofers or smaller contractors. You have material, labor, everything else. And you're going, where's my money? We're not going to refer out until a claim is processed and paid. If you're one of our partners and we say, go do that, you want this one? We know if that money, that check doesn't come from the insurance company, guess who has to back that up? Because we treat you the same way we treat our clients. Guess who has to make sure that you get made whole in that? If we send you on something and then the insurance company backs out or something else, guess who's not going to get left hanging?
Mm-hmm.
The tradesmen too. We are here to make sure that that network is strong, that those referral relationships are strong, all with the intent of making sure that you guys are taken care of so you can take care of the clients. Because I ain't going to get up on a roof.
Yeah.
So
we've talked a lot, and a lot of words have been said, but do you guys have your 1 minute elevator pitch, 30-second elevator pitch? What is roof? Why do we need it as a homeowner? And just sum it all up real fast as we wrap up the podcast. Because I just want to make sure if they've made it this far in the podcast, I don't want to have anyone question what in the world you guys are going to be doing and why we need you. So
insurance companies are not your friend, but Roof is, and we're here to help.
Roof is an elegant solution to an inelegant problem. The person who always gets left behind is the homeowner. Nobody is looking out for your needs. And I don't think anybody's cared to look and see what it is that you need up until now. Everybody should have an advocate. This is the most inexpensive way we can do it. Our intent is to make sure that everybody that should have it can afford it, and we've built it that way. And I just would never recommend that you go without it because the game has just become too tough.
Well, I mean, it's $360 a month, a year, right? So
yeah,
price of basic cable.
It's just like $30 is. If it was $150, a lot of people are scratching their heads, right? But at $30, it's
that's
less
not
than
even a tank of fuel.
Yes,
a month.
it's less than a Starbucks visit. For
cut out
weeks.
one Starbucks. Yeah, cut out one Starbucks visit a week, and you can afford. You'll have money left over. And again, it's the quickest way to kind of make sure that you don't get left handed. Because if you're saving $30 a month to get to your deductible, and we have a storm next season, you're going to have about $350.
Yeah. So to clarify, where is your service area currently?
Florida.
Okay, so you can cover the whole state of Florida.
Cover the whole state of Florida.
Do you have plans to grow outside of the state of Florida?
As long as our services fit in with the way that the insurance market is in that state, we're here because we're needed here. I believe that there's other places we're needed and necessary, and we'll go wherever that need is. But, I've run an insurance agency. That's why. I need way smarter people than me around, which is why we've got the Tonys and we've got other people coming out of $40 billion a year companies to jump in here, so that when we scale, we do it in a very
healthy way.
So if you're in the state of Florida, listen up. What's the best way to get hold of Roof?
Go to www.getroofroof.com. Get Roof. Everybody should get Roof. Go to www.getroofroof, like a dog barking, roofroof.com. We are not a roofing company. We are a claims solution company, and we know who the players are in the place. And if you're a good local small business tradesman, go to roofers@getroofroof.com. Email us at roofers@getroofroof.com, or contact us through the website, steve@getroofroof.com. Let us know, because we need great partners, because, you are part of this solution too.
And
if
it's
you
not
want
just roofers either. I mean,
Right.
drywall guys, plumbers, electricians.
Oh, yeah.
Contact
because
us.
we will have what we intend to be, even though we were built to be to solve the problem after a storm. You do realize that people should have a place that they can call and get a really good common sense, English language, not crazy answer as to what they should do.
KISS method. Keep
We're
it
going to
simple and
be
stupid.
a good resource for our members.
Yeah. Well, I see the need completely. I'm glad I had a chance to kind of talk through it, because it really answers a lot of questions. GetRoofRoof.com is where to go. Steve and Tony, thank you for coming in.
Thank you all for taking time to come in.
I wish you the best luck in this venture. I can't wait to see it grow and come back in a year or so, and we can kind of see how things have gone crazy. So I know Tony, I'll stay in touch. But listen, if you made it this far, folks, thank you for listening. Go research Roof. See if that's just something you need. If you're a homeowner,
Everybody needs it.
I know. I know. I'm
purchased
going to be researching that. I think it's definitely going to be something that we need. And frankly, as a vendor, I mean, what better way? If I own a roofing company, I would just buy it for my clients. for an extra $300 or so a
We
year.
are probably, if you bought it for every retail customer you had as a roofer, say you do 50 roofs a month, and we work out a vendor price for you, you're going to be paying probably 10 to 20% of the price to have an in-house adjusting team. And you'll have us. And again, there's not going to be a better, more economical, more experienced way that you can do this
What a great
to make
service.
sure that you can take those insurance jobs again instead of running away from them. How many tradesmen now are running away from
We don't
insurance
take-
jobs?
Absolutely. We don't do it
take
at
them.
all.
Yeah,
we
because
don't
it's
take
just not worth
insurance.
your time. You can't wait. You know what? We can add that back. If you remember back in the day, it was a very important piece of most of the tradesmen's jobs.
Yeah,
Not anymore.
But we've just made it so miserable for you that you don't want to do it.
I know restoration companies that don't take insurance jobs.
Isn't that insane? No, we're just
That's
going to hang the
crazy.
client with,
Yeah.
and the client's going to try to get the money back, and they're never going to get it.
Yeah. All right, folks. Wonderful. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening. And another great show. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Holeinthewall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.